viewers, you're watching GW News Recap. I'm Azan Jamir bringing to you the top stories of the week. Let's have a look at the stories that made it to the headlines. The Nagaland Police statewide recruitment rally began on January 7 and is being held simultaneously across several districts for 1,176 posts. Two cadres of Angmai-led NSC and GBRNK were reportedly killed and one other injured after Yongang-led NSCNK faction carried out a mortar attack in the premises of Kamdiang Village Church compound in Pangsao area of Myanmar. The Ministry of Home Affairs Government of India has adjudged Mokokchung Police Station 2 as the best police station in Nagaland in the annual ranking of police stations for 2025. A 23-year-old blogger from Tripura has been missing for the past 8 days after setting out for Nagaland, leaving his family in deep distress. Nationwide protests challenging Iran's theocracy reached the 2-week mark as a death toll in violence surrounding the demonstrations reached at least 116 people killed. And now the news in details. The Nagaland Police statewide recruitment rally began on January 7 and is being held simultaneously across several districts. More than 32,000 candidates have applied for 1,176 constable positions in the Nagaland Police. The selection process started with document verification, followed by physical measurement and medical screening. Candidates who clear these stages move on to the physical efficiency tests, including running and endurance events. Those who qualify will later be required to appear for a written examination. The recruitment drive will continue for the next few days according to district-wise schedules, and the process is expected to conclude on January 13. Eligibility for the post was restricted to indigenous candidates belonging to Naga tribes, and the online application system was introduced for the first time for this recruitment. Authorities said multiple steps have been taken to ensure the process remains transparent, fair, and merit-based. To maintain oversight, monitoring teams have been deployed at all recruitment centers, with candidates being accessed strictly as per prescribed standards. Deputy Chief Minister Yantongo Patton, who also oversees the Home Department, assured aspirants that the recruitment would be conducted without bias and interference. He urged candidates to rely solely on their preparations and performance throughout the selection process. Two cadres of Angmai-led NSC and GBRNK were reportedly killed and one injured after Yongang-led NSCNK faction carried a mortar attack in a makeshift camp within the premises of Kamdiang Village Church compound in Pangsao area of Myanmar early morning around 5 a.m. on January 9th. According to reports, the attack occurred around 5 a.m. at a camp located within the premises of the Kamdiang Village Church compound. The outfit alleged that the mortar attack was launched by the cadres of NSCNK. Those killed were identified as Lieutenant Avi of the Naga Army from the Pujuri region and Sergeant Piao Konyak of the Naga Army from the Konyak region. The Angmai-led NSCN said it has exercised maximum restraint over the years in the interest of Naga unity and peace, despite what is described as repeated provocations by the Yongang-led faction. It claimed that between 2024 and 2025, more than 20 cadres of the Yongang-led faction had been detained but were later released unconditionally as a goodwill gesture. The outfit alleged that the attack was carried out under the supervision and instigation of Yongang and Joseph Lamkang and claimed it involved collusion with non-Naga armed allies aligned with a Yongang-led faction. It further alleged that its cadres had been misled into being portrayed as having offensive intent, a claim it described as false and malicious. Expressing grief and outrage of the deaths, the Angmai-led NSCN conveyed condolences to the family of the deceased cadres, stating that their sacrifice would not be forgotten. The Ministry of Home Affairs Government of India has adjudged Mokokchung Police Station 2 as the best police station in Nagaland in the annual ranking of police stations for 2025. According to official records, Mokokchung PS2 and Twinsang Police Station were the two police stations shortlisted from Nagaland for final evaluation, with Mokokchung PS2 emerging as the top-ranked station in the state. The recognition was conferred through a Certificate of Excellence issued by MHA. The evaluation was carried out in 2 stages based on the assessment framework developed by the Bureau of Police Research and Development. Under Part 1, record-based evaluation, the shortlisted police stations were accessed using the performance measurement system. A detailed scoring matrix was applied, awarding positive remarks for specific performance indicators and negative remarks for underperformance. The evaluation covered 19 major heads categorized into crime-based and performance-based parameters. Under Part 2, survey-based assessment, the evaluation focused on the infrastructure of the police station, approachability and discipline of personnel, and citizen feedback. The infrastructure assessment examined the condition and upkeep of the police station building, availability of rooms and amenities, furniture, cleanliness, storage of manual records, infrastructure of mess and barracks, and short declaration on procurement and budgetary process. The discipline and approachability of police personnel towards the public were also assessed. In addition, the 2025 evaluation included feedback on new parameters such as the visibility of FIR-related rights within police stations, community awareness and outreach activities, use of digital grievance redressal tools, and public perception regarding the ease of registering FIRs. A 23-year-old blogger from Tripura has been missing for the past 8 days after setting out for Nagaland, leaving his family in deep distress. The missing youth has been identified as Pranab Das, a resident of Malay Nagar, Nepali, under Srinagar police station. Family sources thus frequently traveled to different places to collect video footage, which he later published on his blog. Relatives said he had left for Nagaland a few days ago for video collection. Upon reaching, he spoke to his parents over the phone. However, since January 3rd, his mobile has remained switched off and no further contact has been established. Despite inquiries among relatives and acquaintances, the family has failed to trace him. Following the incident, Das' family lodged a missing diary at Srinagar police station. However, they alleged that no effective action has been taken by the police so far. His father claimed that despite repeated visits to the station, they received no cooperation. Thus, parents have now appealed to the state chief minister and the local MLA for urgent intervention. They urged the administration to intensify efforts and ensure coordination between states to locate their son. A special CBI court in Guwahati has framed charges against 6 accused in the case where 3 women were stripped naked and 2 of them allegedly gang-raped during ethnic clashes in Manipur in May 2023. The 6 accused have been charged with 15 counts including gang-rape, murder and rioting. The Court of Special Judge Chatrabukan Kokoi set January 16 as the next date of hearing, where all the accused, including the 4 lodged in a Manipur jail, will have to be present in person before it. The 2 other accused are out of bail. The special court framed charges against the accused on 15 counts in the order passed on January 2. The case pertains to the incident of mob violence on May 4, 2023, when the 3 survivors were stripped and paraded naked and 2 of them were allegedly gang-raped. While family members of 1 of them were killed, the incident had come to light much later when a video surfaced and went viral on social media. Accordingly, charges were framed against each of the accused persons in the penal provisions of the law under the Indian Penal Code as well as under the Scheduled Caste and Scheduled Tribe Prevention of Atrocities Act 1989. The face-off between the centre and the West Bengal government over the Enforcement Directorate's raids on the Indian Political Action Committee and its co-founder Pratik Jain escalated on January 9 when Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee taking out a protest rally on the streets of Kolkata and the BJP, accusing her of being knee-deep in corruption. IBAC, a political consultancy firm, has been assisting the Trinamool Congress with strategy for the Bengal Assembly elections later this year, and the ED had alleged that Banerjee walked out with a laptop, phone and documents from Jain's house during the raids conducted in connection with a coal smuggling case on January 8. In its petition, which was being heard on January 9, the BROP agency alleged Banerjee had misused her constitutional post by hindering officials who were doing their duty during the raids at the IBAC office and Jain's house. It also called for a CBI probe into the matter, including the role of the Chief Minister. Jain and the Trinamool Congress had filed counter petitions. The party said the ED's raid was aimed at seizing documents related to the Trinamool's poll strategy ahead of the Bengal elections so they could be handed over to the BJP. While the court proceedings were underway, Jivnesi Banerjee began a large protest rally on foot from Kolkata's Jadavpur, the Hazra crossing 6 kilometers away to protest against the raids. Banerjee walked at the front with a big group of party leaders and workers behind her and a large crowd lined at the sides of the road to support her. Banerjee and other leaders of the party have accused the BJP of being desperate to win the Bengal elections and all using possible methods to achieve that. The BJP in turn alleged that Trinamool Congress chief was knee-deep in corruption, and senior leader Ravi Shankar Prasad said she should be met and accused for intimidating ED officials. Nationwide protests challenging Iran's theocracy reached the 2-week mark as a death toll in violence surrounding the demonstrations reached at least 116 people. Iran plunged into a complete internet blackout on January 8 night as protests over economic conditions spread nationwide, increasing pressure on the country's leadership. Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei has signaled a coming clampdown despite U.S. warnings from President Donald Trump that America could intervene to protect peaceful demonstrators. Tehran escalated its threat Saturday, with Iran's Attorney General Mohammad Mohammadi Azad warning that anyone taking part in protests will be considered an enemy of court, a death penalty charge. It must be reminded that shopkeepers heeded calls from 7 Kurdish political groups for a general strike on January 8, closing the doors in Kurdish regions and dozens of other cities around Iran. The Hangal Rights Group posted footage of shuttered shops in the western provinces of Ilam, Kermanshah and Lorestan. It accused authorities of firing on demonstrators in Kermanshah and the nearby town of Kamyaran to the north, injuring several protesters. Protests took place with a large crowd seen gathering on the Was Ayatollah Ghashani Boulevard. The protest movement is the largest in the 3 years, and while it has not yet reached the size of the 2022 Women Life Freedom demonstrations, it has alarmed Iran's political and security leadership. Well, viewers, that's it for this week's news recap, and for more news like this, you stay connected to Global Winter.